Hey church, I hope you're having a great day today. Today we'll continue in our Anchor for My Soul series. And it's just been so good, so rich for us to look at the promises that God has for our lives. And so today we're going to look at Genesis chapter 40 and verse 8. And given some quick context, the cupbearer and the baker, they are in prison and they just had this dream. And Joseph is there and he comes to check on them. They're sad. They're a little distraught about what had happened. And so let's look at what they said here in verse 8. It says, "And they replied, 'We both had dreams last night, but no one could tell us what they mean.'" And this is what Joseph says. He says, "Interpreting dreams is God's business. So go ahead and tell me your dreams." And here's the main thought for today that I want you to catch is that God is the source for you and for I to walk in our promises. And so we see here, they have this dream. They're upset. They knew that these dreams had meanings, but no one could tell them what they meant. And so here comes Joseph. And remember, Joseph, when he was younger, he had dreams. And it showed the promises that God had for his life. And Joseph could have very easily been like, "Hey guys, listen, interpreting dreams, that's kind of my thing. Let me show you what those mean. Just go ahead and tell me. I am God's anointed. I can do all of this and show you what it means." But look what he does first. He says, interpreting dreams is God's business. He recognizes that the gift that he has is from God and it belongs to God. And I think this is so key for us in our daily life to recognize where our abilities come from, where our giftings come from, because oftentimes we can think, it's our own talent, our own abilities, our own gifts that allow us to walk in God's promise. But we have to remember that God's called us to be a good steward of the gifts that he has placed in us. And so when we walk in those abilities, listen, I have giftings, you have giftings, they all come from God. And so what I want to make sure that I'm so quick to do is I want to deflect credit from me and give it to God, because I don't want glory. I want God to get glory. So it's so important for me to be able to make sure that we give God all the credit for the giftings that are in our life, because all of us know, apart from the Spirit of God, apart from God's power and gifting in our life, we can't do anything. And so I want to stay so in tune with the fact that it is God that's given me everything that I need to walk in the promise that he has for me. And oftentimes we have to make sure that we're trusting God with that ability. Listen, I don't trust myself with those things. I trust God with what he has done in me and what God is doing through me. And so I want to ask you this question. In what areas in your life do you need to stop trusting in your own ability and start trusting in God and in him alone? Because it's because of God that we have the gifts that we have, and we have to place our trust in him to use those. So maybe you have a gift in your own life that you're saying, no, I want to walk in that gift. Here's Joseph in prison with this gifting, and here's an opportunity for him to use this. Joseph trusted in God's plan and purposes to see those gifts being used. And so for me in my own life, I want to make sure I say, God, I trust you with the gift. I trust you with the opportunity. I trust you with the timing. I'm not leaning on my own understanding, but I'm leaning on who he is and what he says to do. Amen. I hope this encourages you today. And maybe you know somebody who needs to hear this. Maybe somebody that you know that has a great gift of God on their life. Maybe you share this with them today to encourage them of the gift that God has given them and how God uses us each day to walk in those gifts and those promises. Have a great rest of your day.